bit of fun with footy and a chat.
Yep.
We welcome everyone that joins us to have a conversation about our beloved Blue Baggers. So listen, what's your thoughts, Frank, on the weekend?
Well, you got to love the old chant that goes around from the cheer squad whenever we play Collingwood. We hate Collingwood. We hate Collingwood. Yeah, it's fantastic. Nothing better than beating the filthiest of filth the planet has ever seen. Never mind. Always get up and about when we beat them. Makes me so happy. Yeah. Couldn't happen to a worse team. But yeah, nah.
I'll tell you
always
what.
Good.
I'll tell you what doesn't get old is that song. I love it when Collingwood joke. Yeah. It's Australia's biggest joke.
even my little girl sings that whenever I come across on the Facebook and I play that. My little girl catches wind of it and there she's singing.
Yeah, that's a great song. That's the best song.
I love it.
I don't know why they didn't get an aria.
They should have. It. Yeah. They should play it one grand final at halftime entertainment or something like that.
Oh,
or even pre-match.
Definitely. It should definitely play in a Carlton Collingwood clash.
Yeah.
When Collingwood lose.
It should even replace Up There Kazali when eventually Up There Kazali sort of run its race. No, it's never going to happen. But we love it when Collingwood choke.
We love it. Everyone loves it when Collingwood choke.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great stuff. We love beating the filth. And look, in fairness, the first half of the game wasn't looking great. But we come up, man, we got 4 points in the end.
Yeah, it was a bit scrappy the first half. I definitely agree. It wasn't ideal, but they didn't look great either.
No.
They didn't look great either. We were doing a good job of not letting them play the way they wanted to play. They were okay. They kicked, I think, 4 goals or 3 goals in the first quarter.
Kicked one.
4 goals, one. Martin kicked on the siren. But, yeah, I think we forced them to play an ugly brand of footy, and it certainly worked in our favour in the long run.
Yeah. So who have we got joining us? Brett Klassen. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Luke, look at the head on that. I've had prettier turds. I think they're talking about you, Frank.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah, no, I think so.
I wouldn't have thought so. To be fair, though, we're not winning no prizes for good-looking roosters or chickens, are we?
If you've watched this show before, you know we do a rude lid. We are the experts at rude lid, and that's how...
Takes one to know one. So.
That's how we get to award the prize every week. G'day, Johnny. Sim1, great to see you washed your hair. Well, I do wash my hair.
That's why I reckon you got the one for the ugly turd one, whoever said that earlier. Look at that hair.
I've had... Oh, dear. Steve Schmerling, thanks for joining us, buddy. Really pleased you're jumping on. George, hi, guys. We beat the scum. Absolutely. We love it. I nearly ran down the street naked. Great stuff. Great stuff. Yeah, so obviously we were up and about at the final siren.
Certainly was.
You know,
I was a bit late to the party, as the group chat certainly worked out. So
far out.
So a bit of me time.
You get a goose for that.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. But I play competition golf, and funnily enough, played my first A-grade game on Sundays. So I generally miss, whenever we get the arsehole time slot on Sundays, I generally miss it live and then watch it back on the replay. And yeah, I catch a lot of the notifications come up from the group chats talking about how we're doing, whether it's good or bad. So quickly learned to mute that shit and watch the replay a bit later on. But
you shit at it.
Yeah, it does suck to watch it on your own while you got to stay off Facebook.
I was ready for bed and I was waiting for you to be up and about. And I was like, you haven't seen it yet?
Yeah, 8:30 at night or some shit. I finally finished watching it.
Yeah, so look, that first, especially the first quarter, I was getting really frustrated with. We were getting into our forward 50. And I felt like there was a COVID cluster down there.
Just trying to socially distance that shit away from it.
Because it just kept turning over and it was extremely frustrating. And look, I know that we can get a bit disappointed early on in the game and then, throw our toys out the pram and go, oh, fuck it, I'm not watching anymore. But I think, with the year that we've had, we have certainly seen improvement. But, in early doors of the game, if we're not seeing much happening, you kind of get frustrated. And I think it's fair and reasonable to understand where supporters sit there.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear other people's thoughts on that, because I've certainly seen a lot of rhetoric on the socials about people being fair weather supporters because we're not up and about while we're losing and all the rest of it. But I think we really need to be realistic here and say, well, we're supporters and we're frustrated. And of course, then I think it was Jack's goal late in the second that changed the tempo of the game. What do you think, Frank?
Yeah, and look, I agree with you, and I've certainly been a very frustrated supporter at times, online and sort of, have a bit of a rant and all that sort of thing. But I suppose it's good, though, with differences of opinions, too, because I watched that first half, and while it wasn't ideal, yes, it was scrappy, but we're in the contest, basically.
Yeah.
We were
was in our forward 50.
We were never out of it.
Yeah.
And I've learned that especially with the Blues and the way we travel, if we go along like a busted for a while, eventually it turns. And if we can still be within 2 or 3 goals of the opposition, when eventually that does turn, we're right back in the game in 2.5 or 3 minutes. We bang on 3 goals and we're back in front or level pegging again. So that's why, from a purist spectacle point of view, it was a shitty game with a lot of turnovers and stuff like that. But as long as there's a good contest, there's a good fight going on, I'm entertained. I'm happy to watch it.
Yeah. No, and that's right. And we did see some amazing points of the game that are memorable. And we spoke about this a few weeks ago. It's probably a segment we want to bring in to our show, and that's the goosebump moments. And that game definitely offered goosebump moments,
and almost goosebump moments, which sort of helps you ride the ups and downs of a game. When it was in the first quarter where Eddie Betts was just tapping a ball to himself off the front of a pack in the forward line and had a bit of a sideways soccer shot at goal. He didn't get it, but you're like you sort of ride up and down with those moments. But when you look at it in isolation, it was shithouse. A superstar like Eddie Betts couldn't grab the footy as much as he tried. He couldn't then get a shot off a goal. So it looked terrible, but at the same time looked awesome because he was doing Eddie Betts things.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
That's sort of where I sort of sit with it. Yeah, okay, it looked shithouse for a lot of that first half, first quarter in particular. But I think it looked good for different reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of those in particular was my man Paddy Dow, and I saw him selling foot candy to everybody that went near him.
Yeah.
He was 3 don't argues or something in the first quarter. So while the game didn't look ideal, he was pushing everyone away like Dusty style. So
no, and I did notice that as well, and I thought we're starting to see a lot more mongrel, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned, there was a lot of goosebump moments. Obviously, one of those being our boy Jack, and bless him for being able to honour his nono, his granddad, in the way that he did.
I tell you what, there wouldn't have been a dry eye in a Carlton supporter when he kissed his armband and then pointed up to the sky. I reckon there was not a dry eye in the house.
That was a moment for the generations, wasn't it?
For the ages, absolutely it was.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. So, and also, I do think that his goal late in the second changed the tempo. I think it suddenly sort of everything clicked in, and I think it was from that point that we dictated how we're playing.
Absolutely.
Now, look here, Collingwood. This is how we're playing this game of footy.
Yep.
I'd love to hear everyone else's thoughts about, where they saw the tempo of the game change.
Yep.
Yeah. What else did you think about the game, Frank?
There was a few things. I haven't had a chance to go right through, but I tell you what I loved the most, and I'm sure it's going to come up in the comments if it hasn't already. Liam Stocker's hit on Brody Maier. With 4 seconds to go in the game, we were up by 4 or 5 goals or whatever it was in the end. But he lined up this fella and hit him like a freight train.
That was brilliant.
Absolutely
Loved it.
like a freight train.
Does anyone know if he's picked himself up off the ground yet?
I reckon they're still looking for his shoulder socket somewhere over there. But yeah, that was beautiful. There was so many moments, I think, of genuine hardness from Stocker and from others as well that have been criticised in the past for not being hard enough. People like Dow, people like Martin. Williams, okay, maybe there wasn't, but his defending still leaves a lot to be desired. But having said that, his best game, I reckon, for the Blues. I don't think I've seen him play a better game than that. He didn't have 1,000,001 touches, but every time he did touch it, something nice happened. So yeah, there was a fair bit to like.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant, and of course we can't go talking about last week without. It's a fucking goat.
No, it's a fucking goat. Yeah.
Mate, I tell you what, we need to start a segment that's called Who Wins the Internet for the Week.
Yeah.
And because whoever made that
video with a kid in the window,
they win the prize for the whole year.
I reckon.
That was the best thing I've ever seen.
Best video. It was fantastic. Quite a funny story. My little girl, yesterday had a dentist appointment, so she was there. She was the first thing in the morning. So in the small reception area, there was in the waiting room, there was only my wife and I, and then just on the other side of the doorway was my little girl being worked on by the dentist. And I was just sitting there, and I hit Facebook, and there was a notification, so I clicked that and opened up that video straight away, as loudly as my phone would go in the middle of this. It's a fucking goat. In the middle of the dentist reception, I was like, oh, no. I was trying to back out of it really quick, but yeah, fantastic.
It was brilliant, and whoever put it together is an absolute genius.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this, you probably won't be, but whoever did it, good on you.
I reckon the only thing that would have topped that video was if they slid the heat map in right at the end. After the goal and he's giving it the fuck yeah, and then throw up the heat map right at the end of the video.
And that's the best bit about the goat video is that because I saw some snippets of Walsh's goal from various commentators.
Yeah.
And not all of them included the fuck yeah.
Yeah, I got beeped out. Yeah.
Yeah, but the video was made with the fuck yeah, which just topped it off.
Absolutely.
Walshy going, yeah, I'm the goat.
Absolutely. Don't worry about that. If he doesn't steal the Brownlow this year, I reckon lock him in for next year. Yep.
Well, I don't know. I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts. Is Brownlow? He could be a sneaky.
Well, I'll tell you what. The year that Cripper got runner-up to Natalie Fife a couple of years ago, whenever that was, was that 19? I thought he'd be a smoky. I didn't think he'd get quite as close as he did, given the fact I think we only won 4 games that year. I reckon there's every chance that Walshy he's a human highlight reel, so he could easily
It's Walsh.
Yeah.
He gets all the votes.
Yeah. He just
from everybody everywhere.
Takes as many as he wants.
Yeah. So yeah, look, JR's often mentioned that he spotted him at $85 at the beginning of the year.
Did he actually get on? Or
I don't know if he did, but
JR, get in the comments there and confirm you've actually locked him in.
Yeah, because if he did, it could well be your shout.
100% will be. Bottle of Jameson, please. No. But still, it'll be close. I the first time I seriously looked at him, I think he was at about $60, and I still thought, look, I don't think I'll waste my $20 this time. But you're starting to regret that now.
Well, I chucked 100 on him at 15.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. I thought, you know what, do it.
Got out the old hundo and said, here you go, take this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, maybe it was 50. I'll need to double check my account. But yeah, I put something on him at 15, and even then I thought,
bigger balls than I have. You do.
Probably a bit late, but
15s is better than it's probably at $8 or something now. I haven't looked for a while.
I think he's gone down to 10. I'm not sure. And you're quite right, Brett. They usually give votes to the winning team. You're right, but if you remember when Judd won it,
yeah, we didn't.
How many games had we won?
Any?
Oh, I forget. But it was only a couple.
But
only a handful.
He definitely stole that Brownlow.
And yeah, I agree with Wayne. He's a smoky, and I think he's gonna come up. If he doesn't get it this year, that kid will finish up with a Brownlow around his neck.
Yep. Multiple Brownlows.
If not this year, next year, or real soon.
Yep. I gave Paddy Dangerfield a bit of a reverse goose a couple of weeks ago when he said that this kid is legitimately, up there with the best and could be the best of all time. And he's certainly, that's not an outlandish statement by any means. He could easily be up there in the conversation, definitely have a seat at the table for the best of all time by the time he's done, I reckon.
Yeah.
If we can manage to slide a couple of premiership medals to go with a couple of those Brownlows that we reckon he's going to get. Yeah. He's definitely in that conversation, I reckon.
And as Brett says, he could win 3 or 4. I agree with that.
Yep.
And he's nominated for Goal of the Year this week. So if you haven't got on to vote, make sure you do.
I certainly have.
I haven't got the link here, but just Google it. Just Google Goal of the Week, Goal of the Year, and the nominations are up, and you can go bang, Sam Walsh every day, all day, every week. He needs to buy himself a big trophy cabinet because that's going to be one of them.
Yep.
What else, Frank, about last week? Anything else?
Maddie Kennedy's just continuing doing Maddie Kennedy things now that they are sold.
I'm loving him.
They are sold John Barker. It's no coincidence that Barker out, Power into the assistant coaching role, midfield role, and then in comes Dow, does dominant things. In comes Maddie Kennedy and becomes a player.
Stocker's ripping it up.
Yeah, and SBS has moved to a half forward flank instead of
I'm enjoying SBS. He's given us some excitement like he was supposed to.
The only thing was when he was blazing away down the middle and then kicked in the first quarter, at pretty much 40 metres out, he missed for straight in front. I thought that was I was a bit disappointed because SPS I think is one of the best kicks in our team for accuracy and just an easy 40-metre running goal from no contest, no pressure, and got me a bit down. But yeah, he's I like what he's doing at the moment. So
yeah. Also, we should mention that if you haven't picked up already, Jack is also up for Mark of the Year.
Yep, I voted for that. How could you not?
Yeah. So just in case anyone hasn't heard, we've got to promote that and basically go and Google that as well and give him 1,000 votes.
Yeah, we'll need more than that, but
we'll
need more than that.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, just give him all the votes.
I think it's 10,000 maybe. There's not Carlton supporters.
So, yeah, what else we got? Mac Champion, what have we got? More highs than lows the past 5 weeks. Yeah, quite agree.
Yep.
JSOS's game and special moments, doing it with no Cripper. Kennedy beasting it further, Stocker, Mongrel and Play. Dow rising again. Absolutely. And everything you're saying there, Mac, you're absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
And one of the things I do, don't get me wrong, of course we love Cripper on, but I think what happens when he's off is we get to see others shine. And I'm stoked that he's back in this week. But it was nice to see everyone else pick up the weaknesses.
Definitely you're right, but sometimes that can backfire. And the reason I say that is because more often than not, when Cripper plays, he still gets the #1 tag.
Yep.
And then that allows Walsh to just, rack up 40 touches and kick goals and do Walsh things at will. So that's why you sort of, it's a bit risky, obviously, and obviously then saying, well, we get Cripper down in the forward line more often, which, gives us just as many questions as it does answers because, then, like you said, that leaves him, out of the midfield where he is taking that #1 tag away from Walsh. So, while Cripper's not going to be the one to get 40 touches a week anymore, we still need him in that midfield.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. So, and I'm glad he's back this week.
Absolutely.
Have you noticed I've got a new bit of attire this week, Frank?
Yeah, I noticed you got a new shirt going on.
Yeah. So, now, how old were you in the 95? Here's the old 95 grand final T-shirt. In the 95 grand final, I was 19.
So I would have been 9.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember what it's like to be 19, but
barely, but I do.
If you're in celebratory mode, you can. A fair chance you'll blow all your money. So I didn't,
and some.
I didn't leave enough money to buy a shirt. So Carlton's doing a retro range, and I finally got myself a Premiership 95 Premiership T-shirt. And to be fair,
25 years too.
To be fair, it's probably, it is a 90s style garment.
Yep.
Let's be realistic, and I might pass it over to you, to be honest.
They didn't make a men's and women's one, did they?
No. Might get the right size once it's in the dryer. But yeah, look, they're doing a retro range, which is lovely because people like me who was too dumb and, broke at the time can relive the moments.
You get some of that merch.
Yeah. Where are we, Frank? Where are we with the comments? See anything there that you want to? Hey, Jeff Chang. TDK does amazing things. Thanks for joining us, Jeff. My brother took the piss out of me the other day.
Because you won't shut up with the song.
Oh, every time he does something decent, especially a goal, I can't help it. Like,
just let it go.
It's
we know he does amazing things. Yeah,
it's just a song.
Fucking annoying song, mate.
TDK does amazing things.
Does anyone else want to do this show with her? Because
no, you're out. Okay. All right. So who else we got? Wayne. Are they going to rest Cripper this week? In my opinion, they should. He's banged up. No, he's actually back in.
Yep, straight back in. And while I agree that he's definitely banged up, I just, at this stage of the year, I think 90% of the players are a bit banged up. But
yeah, look, we're nearing the end.
Yeah, I think if Cripper's inside 70% fit and healthy, then he'll just get the job done regardless.
I think it's quite interesting. See, last week we were having conversations around, our season's out.
Which it still is, mind you. I'm certainly not jumping on the bandwagon of finals.
We're not going to have a tilt at it and all the rest of it. This week, we look at the ladder and we see that between 7th and 13th, there's not much doing. So there's every chance. The planets have to align.
Yeah, they do.
So you have to wonder if the selectors have gone, well, we still need to put our best in, as opposed to play the kids, which if we kept losing, we would go play the kids so they get game time.
Yeah, look, I'm definitely a little bit more pessimistic on this than you are. I know you're not sort of booking your grand final tickets yet.
No.
But
look,
I'm definitely,
we're not going all the way. Let's be realistic.
I still reckon to play finals, I reckon we're going to have to win the next 5. Is there 5 games left or 4? 4 or 5? Either way, win all the games to the end of the year. That's the only way we're playing finals.
And like I said, all the planets have to align. The other teams between 7 and 13 have to lose. But there is not much in between all of those in terms of wins.
Well, as it stands now, I think we're only 4 points out of the 8.
We are.
So one game. So there's every reason to be somewhat optimistic. I'm just not so sure of it.
To be fair, we're in the best position that we've been in a long time on ladder-wise. And our draw isn't great in terms of, we always hit the top 8s at the start of the season and finish off with the others.
I think we've only got Port Adelaide.
Port's the one I worry about. The rest, but look, North Melbourne beat
Wet Toast
the other week on their home deck.
Yeah, which is a surprise, but so fucking funny.
It was hilarious.
They were up. Well, I think they weren't up and about. They'd lost the last 2 before that as well. So they come into the Adelaide game on the weekend as a desperation sort of thing. I don't reckon they're playing finals either.
Yeah. So what do you think's going to happen next week?
I think we'll win. I think we'll safely beat North. I'd like to see us really put them to the sword early. I want to finally have one game this year, albeit against the bottom side, but just one game where everything clicks in that game and we absolutely dominate, win by 10, 12 goals, and really put a really good stamp on that particular performance. Because we've played in games like on the weekend where we did beat Collingwood and we beat them by quite a few goals. It wasn't a great game. It didn't look, aesthetically pleasing. We've had plenty of those games earlier in the year. Freo and Hawthorn come to mind, where we just sort of scratched over the line and got 4 points on the board. But I'd really like to see them dominate this game.
Yeah.
Harry kicks a massive bag on his brother. Absolutely pulls his pants down. That would be fucking fantastic.
Want to see some brotherly love down there.
Yeah. So does anyone remember back when Alan Jakovic, this is going back a long time, you might not even remember, Alan Jakovic, who played for Melbourne, kicked a goal on his brother Glenn, who played for West Coast, and walked up and kissed him on the cheek.
Yes, I do remember.
I would love to see some shit like that where Harry goes back and snaps his bendy goal from the pocket and runs up and kisses his brother fair on the cheek, and that would be so good.
Yeah, I'd love to see a bit of this too, pinching on the bingo wings.
Yeah,
and
nipple cripples and all sorts of shit.
And, brotherly love.
Yeah.
I want to see a bit of that going on. That has to happen. So, look, because, there seems to be this continuous thing where we bomb it long to Harry. And he's mobbed.
We've never done that before.
And he's mobbed by freaking 3 or 4 blokes.
Yep.
Ben will be all over that, won't he? What do you think he'll do?
Well, I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of Ben play, right? So
no.
I find that in the one-on-one situation, Harry is really hard to beat. Whether it's leading up as a lead-up forward or one-on-one, very, very hard to beat. He's up against his twin brother, which is, by all intents and purposes, supposed to have very, very, very similar attributes and talents. So it'll be very interesting. I don't know that it has it ever happened. Do we know where identical twins have played on each other? Someone in the lot there can comment.
Yeah, let us know.
I can't remember ever seeing it, but yeah. And the other thing is, I don't know if anyone saw in the teams, Robbie Tarrant, who is North Melbourne's other main key defenders, out.
So I love it.
I reckon there's a little bit in that should help us with some tasty one-on-ones.
I really hope that our forward line just give Ben a bit of a toweling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But, well, I reckon that's what I want to see. What we're going to see is him getting mobbed because
Harry gets mobbed.
Teams know that the way to stop Harry is to put 3 on him and spoil everything. So
yeah, and Ben will be the first one to know that.
Yep. So he'll be wording up his mates.
So we're really going to need all of our other forwards to work hard this week.
Yeah, to get out of the contest.
And I think it's fair to say that we shouldn't be surprised if Harry doesn't kick any, because his brother knows him better than anybody.
Jeez, I'll be gutted.
I'll be gutted. I want Harry to kick 6.
12.
Fuck it, 12.
12, yeah.
Have we got any bets? Let's do bets.
Right.
How many do we want Harry to kick against his brother?
Nearest to the pin.
Nearest to the pin.
12 it is for me.
Yeah.
Just get on it.
Whoever gets nearest to the pin, JR and Trev will buy you a carton of beer. So tell us, how many goals is Harry going to kick this week against his brother? Love to see. Love to know. And JR and Trev will pay. 10.
Just send your invoice to
Carlton Live.
JR at Carlton Live.
So we got Colin Prigg at 10. We got Gavin Whelan at 7. Brett Klassen at 12.
Yeah. I like Brett. Yeah, I'm on at 12. It is.
Yeah, I like 12.
He somehow snuck in 4 against the Filth, so he's just going to times that by 3, and then
he's absolutely going to pants his brother. Okay. So look, guys, your votes are locked in. Whoever gets nearest to the pin, JR and Trevor will buy you a carton of beer.
Carton of James Bogues.
Jason Allen's got 5.
Yep.
Big Harry 5 from Wayne.
Well, I'll tell you, if he gets 5, there's a lot of cartons of beer that JR's buying.
They might have to share it, so they might have to send 6 packs. Love to see it, and look, we'll remind you on game day if JR and Trev owes you a carton of beer.
Definitely.
It's good to know that they're not watching, eh?
JR was watching earlier, but he's obviously going to get himself a Bogues to drink. And
yeah, you snooze, you lose, JR.
Yeah, he's going to come back and he owes cartons.
Steve reckons a baker's dozen. 13 goals.
13 goals.
Awesome.
Yeah.
John wants John.
Go on then, John.
Go on.
Go on.
Hold on.
You got to send him the link.
I think JR would like to confirm that prize.
Yep.
So, anyway, while I'm getting him on, what else could we talk about?
Well, there's. I want to see what other people thought of the game. If there's something we haven't come up with.
Yeah.
We sort of rattled off quite a bit at the start of what we liked and what we didn't like and all that sort of business. So, if anyone's there with other stuff they liked and they saw, or what they want to see moving forward from the game on the weekend, we've got the early game on Saturday. So yeah, let us know. I want to see some comments and see what's going on there.
Yeah. So yeah, share your thoughts. Well, we get John to join us.
We still got a fair bit coming up, so once we get JR on and find out what he's got to say, and we'll go through. We've got Rude Lid coming up. There's some ugly heads, much more uglier than ours, coming up there. So that's always good for shits and giggles.
That's why we're the experts.
Well, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Like I said before, it takes one to know one. But then, and Goose of the Week as well. So,
and actually, if you've been on this show before, and you know about our Goose of the Week, and you've got some nominations, throw it at us. Nominations for he and I to be Goose doesn't count. That's not valid because we know we're the winners.
But JR and Trev, definitely, if you want to nominate
JR and Trev get a nomination every week. Okay, Colin Prig, what's he got? First time we win from coming behind in the last quarter instead of falling apart. Absolutely spot on, mate.
Yep, absolutely.
It's the first time that's ever happened
this year.
And who better?
Yeah, like I said before, nothing makes me happier in the football world than beating Collingwood. By a point, by 10 goals, it doesn't matter. As long as we do it. As long as I know those fuckers will hurt. You just know that they'll be there shitting themselves, seething at the fact that they've just been beaten by Carlton.
And I'll tell you what, the da-da-da-da-das were so much more heartfelt because of it.
Yeah. You really get up and about, don't you?
All right, so we got John knocking on the door.
El Presidente.
Hello, boss. How are we going?
Yeah, it's good evening, everyone. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good, mate.
How are we going? Have we misbehaved?
Look, I was about to say how good your show was going until you said that was the reason that I came on. But that didn't work out, did it? No, look, guys, I'm really enjoying your show. I can't not come on. It's so infectious. It's so brilliant. It's just I'm totally enjoying it. As for the slabs, fuck off.
Oh, we had a real good thing going there nearest to the pin.
There's going to be a lot of unhappy people, especially those two fellas that went for 5 goals.
They thought at least they were getting 12 beers because they had to share one.
Bogues Premium coming their way.
Hey, good luck funding that. All the best to you.
The question we need to ask, John, did you chuck anything on Walsh at $85?
No, I didn't. And simple reason was...
So you definitely can't pay for those slabs.
Yeah, we can't. The simple reason was we had just moved state and it was like totally blown out of control, the costs, and we were just flat broke. So just, to bet on something was just... No.
Especially something 85 to 1, as much as we wanted to come in, but yeah.
But I told the guys at Noosa Tigers, and I reckon a couple of them got on it.
Nice. Yeah. No, I got on at $15, so you can't lose.
Did you see the Brownlow predictor that came out today? I reckon it's about right. Look, Walsh sits about 5th or 6th. Because you've got Bontempelli and Oliver who they're going to take up. They're going to suck up a lot of votes. And then you had a pretty good list after that. I reckon that's about right.
Even Petrarca's. I haven't seen that predictor, but I reckon obviously Clayton Oliver will still votes off Petrarca and vice versa. But he's also had a really good season in sides that are winning a lot of games. So, and Ollie Wines, I think, is another one as well that might be a bit of a smoky if you get on with some decent money. But you're right. As much as we'd love to see him pinch one, like we thought that Paddy did a couple of years ago, but probably won't be this year.
No.
Yeah, the thing is, umpires are very slow to get onto a player as well. They're very comfortable in the way that they vote. So if they've voted for someone before, their likelihood is that they're going to vote again. And that's, been through history. That's not just a current thing. So it's very hard for someone to break into the umpire's train of thought in Brownlow votes. So it might take him 6 rounds before he votes, even though his first, 5 rounds were unbelievable.
Yeah. Wayne's just said, John, give us beer.
Say it again.
Wayne. So Wayne has made a fair comment, like, we promised beer.
And you have to deliver. It's just how this game works.
Hey, Wayne, I didn't promise beer.
No? Oh, okay.
Fair enough.
All right, fair call. So we had some of your thoughts and Trev's thoughts of the game when you guys were on Tuesday.
Yeah. Which Frank didn't agree with, and that's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's why I like it. I mentioned earlier the differences of opinions. It's great.
Yeah.
I see the game differently to Simone, that sees the game differently from yourself and all the other different supporters. We all see it very differently, so it's good to have differing opinions on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look. I guess the whole thing that we're all missing about this is, let's work as a team and do it my way.
Well, look, I was telling Frank that midway through the game, I was getting a little bit frustrated, and you and I were chatting, and
I was winning golf tournaments.
And I was ready to go wash.
Congratulations, mate.
Thanks, mate.
I was ready to wash windows with cotton tips. Now, good job. I realised I run out of cotton tips. Otherwise, I might not have seen the second half of the game. But it was
nice. Well done. I actually did a PowerPoint presentation that wasn't a joke. I did do a PowerPoint. But Frank, I've worked out why you're an A grader is because behind the beard is another golf ball.
I just shake my head like this and I found my ball, boys. It's all right. Sorry, I found it, boys.
Brilliant. Are you looking forward to the Harry and Ben matchup?
Oh, I don't think it will happen. Although it's like you said, it's probably a little bit more likely now that Tarrant's out. But yeah, it's going to be a bit of showmanship, but I don't see it happening.
What do you see happening? A bit of a mob 3-on-1 sort of setup, or? Yeah,
look, I think it's,
I'll leave you guys to chat about that. I'm going to get another drink. Do you want one?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, Frank, you chat about that. I'm going to get another drink.
Fair call. No, look, I don't know. I reckon it has to happen at some point. They're going to be 1-on-1 for I reckon for large parts of the game. It's. Yeah, I sort of see where John started to go there. He'll obviously come back to it, but it might be that Ben has more of a style of that sort of Liam Jones type arrangement where he slides in off the back as a sort of like a semi-loose defender and take intercept marks and things like that. But I think at some point in the game, or for a lot of it, we'll see them one out with each other.
I don't think we'll see one out. I think, like you said, that it'll be the slide-in type of arrangement. We've got to forget that they are twins, and you've got to look at them as footballer on footballer. Obviously that Ben is not quite up to the standard that Harry is,
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. So they will be putting their best defender. Robbie Terrence obviously gone. So whoever's next, that will be the player that will take Harry, and it'll probably be someone a little bit bigger, a little bit more experienced. I don't know the North Melbourne lineup too well, so
I don't either. I don't know who's next in line there, but I reckon the coach Noble, I think it's David Noble. I think he needs to see the romance in this. Tiggy will definitely want to see the romance in this, and just put him on, even if it's for a couple of contests early. I want to see it. I think everyone wants to see it, but I suppose I see where you're coming from. Where for the respective teams, it's more than just two twins going at it. They're 4 points on the line and a bit more to it. But
true. Yeah.
But yeah, I want to see it.
We all want to see it.
And like I said, I reckon.
Look, the theatre's not lost, is it?
No.
Especially with Sorry, Sim. Go.
What? Huh?
No, you go, mate. She was still getting herself sorted.
Yeah, no, I'm all right.
Yeah, cool. I thought I'd cut you off. It's pretty hard, with this bit of lag that we've got. Look, I think that both coaches will see the theatre, and I think that's very important given the COVID situation that we're in. That everyone wants to see a little bit of something at the moment. There's going to be no crowds, there's going to be nothing. So let's give something. Like you say, Frank, it might be two contests, and it's going to be wow.
Yeah. They'll find their way against each other. And like you said, even if it's not by design, because quite often defenders will swap with forwards as they move forwards and backwards up the ground, and as the handover happens, you sort of end up with a different forward that you're defending, and vice versa. So, I think it will happen a few times throughout the game. But I think the more I think about it, and with what you're saying, it's pretty logical that it probably won't happen as often as we'd like.
Yeah, it's certainly not one-on-one.
Well, Harry's never going to go, as I said earlier. As much as I'd like to see one-on-one, there's just no way that any team with any defence will allow Harry to be one-on-one.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the best defender in the competition, you don't want to have him one-on-one.
No.
It's a team defence, and what really upset me with the Collingwood game was particularly in that first half was that still that cluster around the top of the square, that absolute brainless kicking in, which is never going to get results. It just has to be someone has to come and lead at the ball or lead in a different direction, and then let Harry do his job rather than just sitting at the top of the square. It's brainless football. It's something that we need to get out of, and that's why I was so upset with the first half, because it was just same old. We haven't learned a goddamn thing. And eventually, in the fourth quarter, it all came together. But that's also to do with I totally disagree with Frank saying that Collingwood was a shit show in the first half. I thought they played brilliantly in terms that they drew us back and pinpointed the ball through. I thought their kicking skills were amazing until they did that last kick in. Their field kicking was just amazing, and they totally destroyed us. And we didn't have an answer to that until the last quarter.
Yeah. I do feel that the tempo changed when Jack kicked the goal late in the second. And I think it was unfortunate that we were nearly at half-time, that the kind of momentum might have shifted a little bit for the third, but they certainly found it again in the fourth.
I think a lot of it's down to our disposal efficiency inside forward 50, or goal-kicking efficiency in general. Maybe not so much goal-kicking efficiency this time as it was, I think it was against Geelong, or 1-goal-8 or some stupid shit.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, that destroys you. That destroys your confidence.
We had the same inside 50 forward 50s as Collingwood did on the weekend. So, Collingwood's disposal efficiency through the midfield and stuff worked well. Ours was not equally as well, but nearly as good, because we had just as many inside forward 50s. But again, a lot of it is that dump kick, which Simone and I especially have banged on about how ridiculous. And I would rather them kick the ball, 50 metres backwards and then try and set up across the fat side and then come back around.
Yeah. Give the other forwards a chance to get in the leading positions. And
the other thing I wanted to mention before, when John, you mentioned about the clusters at the top of the goal square. I think it's essential that other forwards, whether it's Eddie, and I know he's good at it, Martin or Jack at times, purposely lead away. They have to drag their defender away from that centre square, from that Harry area, because if they're all clambering around for the same dunk kick, then Harry's zero chance, and they're almost as much of a chance of getting that. So they've got to sense the moment and go, let's try and drag this guy away. I'll take him over to that flank. Someone says, I'll take this guy over to that flank, and then that sort of leaves Harry with a bit of space to move around in.
Yeah, so it's then going back a step. I totally agree, 100% what you say. But then going back a step is who's kicking the ball in. In that first quarter, it was Ed Curnow kicking the ball in, and he didn't have the polish to be able to hit those kicks, and ended up dumping. You need to get Jack Martin, instead of being at the fall of the ball, kicking that ball in. SPF needs to be kicking that ball in. And Fisher needs to be kicking that ball in, because they're absolute pinpoint when they do.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Yeah.
And even at one point there, JSOS himself in the first quarter is set up a 18, 20 metre kick through the eye of a needle, hit Sard or somebody, maybe even Martin, but they went with a quick handball, and then they went with a running goal and missed. Or Nunes, I think it was. But that pinpoint accuracy is essential, especially with that last kick inside 50.
So going back quite a few weeks, I think the best kick I've ever seen was Liam Jones. That 50-metre dart across a centre line to a lead. It only went about 6 foot off the ground and hit someone just dead on the chest. It's probably the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. And it was great to, just on the back of that, it was great to see Jones doing his job again a bit more than usual. Not quite there yet, but he was up and about.
I'll tell you one thing that I think needs to improve a little bit between Jones and Wieders. I don't know what it is, where one of them has to stay back when the other follows someone up forward.
Absolutely.
I've seen one, I think it was Brody Mychek, took a mark almost centre wing, and he was 2 steps ahead of Wiedering. And I thought, okay, it doesn't matter. Jones is back there. He'll intercept. And as Mychek kicked it, I could see Jones walking back to the forward line. He followed that contest, but zero impact.
Yeah.
And Plowman was left with Nick Newman and might have been Stocker against who was that kid that kicked 2 in the first quarter for them? It doesn't matter. But uncontested mark almost.
I think his name is.
Yeah, scumbag. But I thought, Johnny, if you're gonna follow the ball movement, which he normally does exceptionally well, Jones reads the play really well.
Yeah.
But you've got to impact that contest, otherwise you're hauling ass all the way back there. But wouldn't have made a difference because he was caught in no man's land. But
100%. But I think those two would be the first ones to admit that we got that wrong. Yeah. We didn't know who. We didn't actually know who we had to get to, type of thing. Cameron was also there, and he looked a bit dangerous. And exactly what you said, it was all of a sudden, all right, who's looking after him? Well, you have to work that out, type of thing, very, very quickly. Yeah. And I think in the first half we didn't get that right at all.
No.
But it settled down.
What do you think shifted it, John? What's your thoughts?
I honestly can't say. I think they ran out of legs, to be honest. I don't think that they're a 4-quarter team either. And I think they let us get hold of them in the last quarter. I honestly can't say. I think we might have gone in a bit underdone, and we looked underdone in the first half.
Yeah, I reckon their A graders also didn't play overly well.
No.
Aside from DeGoey, Sidebottom had 0 impact on the game. Pendlebury had very little impact on the game. Elliott, I think he had might have had 1 or 2 goals, but he wasn't as damaging as he normally is. Taylor Adams.
Yeah. So to stop you there, mate. Those players that you just mentioned absolutely carved us up in round 2.
That's right. Yes,
Yep.
You're quite right. Yeah.
Minus Pendlebury, you're talking about a bunch of spuds there who are confidence players.
Yeah.
And you take them out, and they've got nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's good enough. I feel like, although it took us a while and in a very sloppy, roundabout way, we did get there. So, maybe that was sort of the turning point late in the second quarter or midway through the second quarter.
I do think it was Jack, and I do not so much perhaps because the fact that Serge passed away, and he was a legend for the club and all the rest of it. But I do get the feeling that Jack's goal probably shifted the mentality of the team in terms of what we're playing for. I don't know. So there's a bit of psychology in that as opposed to skills, obviously. Yeah.
So we raised that on Tuesday night, and someone said Stocker's goal actually changed the momentum, and that's quite possibly right too, because he's growing so much, and he's one of those players that one of the very few players we've got on our team that you can count on when the chips are down.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he always seems to give his 100%. I mean, that hip and shoulder on my check late 4 seconds into the game, put his body on the line to affect the contest.
That's what we love.
Yeah. And look, I don't like thuggery in our game, but I do like when players try to hurt other players in a fair way, if you know what I mean, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, completely, because you've played footy, I've played footy, Simone's probably played footy, but you're actually taught to tackle to hurt, but to do it fairly. You're taught to bump to hurt, but fairly.
Yes.
Within the rules of the game. You don't go head high and you don't go below the waist.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't get someone whilst they're not looking from the back.
And you don't play for free.
Set of rules. There's a clear set of rules, be it AFL rules or just rules of the game that you just don't do.
Yep.
And Stocker is doing those things that are within the rules, but hurt.
And
he's a nugget, absolute nugget.
And did good.
Yeah.
It was great. We loved it.
But that's what Sauce got him. He said, he's an absolute competitive beast. We just need those sort of players. And we're starting to see that. I love it. Absolutely love it. They're the guys. They're the sort of guys. Him and Jay Sauce, and obviously Sam Walsh. I mean, your Sam Walsh. Enough has been said. But the Stocker and the Jay Sauces, you build a premiership around.
Exactly. Yeah. Very much so.
Yep.
So
and that's not from me. That's from Buzz. That's Buzz speak.
Yeah, he likes a hard nut.
Yeah, we all like a hard nut because they're playing for the jumper.
Yeah.
And I think there is absolutely no denying who those fellas play for. They play for the jumper. And it sounds like you want to say something.
I was going to say, sometimes, and as much as we've banged on about playing for the jumper, sometimes take the jumper out of it and play for your own self-dignity and self-respect. Go out and try that little bit harder, just for your own dignity. And he's got that in spades. But I mean, yourself, John, Simone, and I, Trev as well. We've all had massive whinges about us, not playing with desire and heart. So. Yeah, definitely right. He's got that in spades.
Yeah, big time.
All right, Frank, I'm going to put you on the spot. Give an example.
Of what exactly?
Of who is not having that self-respect and needs to play with the self-respect.
As of right now, I'm going to struggle. Maybe quite a few weeks ago, I definitely would have thrown Williams straight in there. He was for large parts of this year. In fact, pretty much up until the week just gone. I mean, I thought it was one of his best games, and he did Walsh aside sneak into my top 3 this week, purely based on the baseline of improvement. Definitely, he was in that category. At times, McGovern has been in that category. I don't know whether there's a theme here of big name, big money recruits coming over. Martin as well earlier on, whether he was underdone or whether there's heart in there.
I think Martin was underdone when he came back. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, look, Williams, I agree. I think his best game was 3 weeks ago when he got rubbed out, and I didn't mind that he went in to.
Where he slammed old mate's face on the ground.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, look, the slamming the face on the ground, I think it was just a spur of the moment thing. He should never have done it. He would say that a million times over. He should never have done it. But to fly the flag, he was absolutely angry, and he was bloody brilliant on ground, wasn't he? He was just sensational, and that's what we want to see. Play to the edge, but don't go over the edge. He went over the edge, but play to the edge, and I reckon that's his best game for me.
Yeah. As Don Burns says, until last week against the Filth, Jack Martin looked really like a passenger. I agree. He's one of my favourites, but I believe that he came in too early after an injury.
After his PCL.
Yeah, and he took time to warm up, and you're quite right. Dom, I think last week we got to see a little bit more of his form again.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, look, it's getting back to what me and Trevor been banging on about our show. We're getting kind of boring and old because we keep going on about the same thing.
Hey, yeah.
is selection criteria, and who is getting selected and why, and what is the benchmark? What are the policies that are going through? Because we keep getting fed this bullshit about you earn your spot, you go back to the twos and all that sort of thing, and then you see Jack Martin come in as a big high profile, highly paid player coming in underdone without going through the twos, and you start to question that whole thing. And it's not only that us as supporters are question that. What about the players, who are busting their gut out there? And so all of a sudden, Jack Martin's completely underdone, coming into the team and just having absolutely no impact, and still getting selected every week. You have to.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is extremely frustrating, and obviously we're sponsors of him and, massive supporters. He's the greatest guy that you could speak to. But there has to be that consistency in selection. Otherwise, everything's just thrown out. You just complete. Lately I've been saying, if you've ever read the book Animal Farm by George Orwell, it's a wonderful... it's a wonderful narrative about the Russian system, about communism, is that everyone, and at the very end of the book, it was everyone's created equally, but some are more equal than others. And that is our selection policy.
Yeah.
Absolutely spot on. When you put it in that perspective, yeah, absolutely spot on.
And the worst thing for mine is, eventually a player as good as what Martin was always going to play himself into some form.
Yeah.
If he kept getting selected in the ones, he was eventually going to find the form and the fitness to compete at the level. But in that time where he should have been doing that in the twos, as you rightly said, someone like a Honey could have come in and started to reward that hard work and consistency at the twos level, which is what speaks to that selection criteria, that selection integrity.
Yeah.
So I everyone's got a wonderful opinion about Honey and all that. He's a wonderful footballer and going to be a wonderful footballer. But the person that I rate most in their opinions of footballers is Andrew Lake, because he does so much work on it, being part of the Werribee Football Club, and his take on Honey is always from day one. just this guy is going to be something outstanding, and we need to start to show that. We need to take notice and say, you know what, this guy, I reckon he could be the undrugged version of like a Degui or of a Stringer.
We get similar messaging about Jack Carroll over here in WA. In that, you know, like, and to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed that there's not more conversation about him, because
he was injured a couple of weeks with a thumb.
He was
a thumb or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And he's just coming back into senior football. From what I understand, his talents are outstanding, but he's just got to learn. He's just got to learn to get into AFL mode.
Yeah.
And to learn what you know, how to defend and all that sort of stuff. But what I'm hearing too is it's outstanding stuff.
Yeah, and from a WA perspective, you know, there's a whole bunch of us over here going, mate, he was ripping it up in the waffle. And, you know, we're all up and about excited that this young bloke was going into Carlton, and we were looking forward to seeing. I don't think we'll see him in the ones this year. But certainly can't wait to see him. Can't wait to see him out there.
Can't wait to see Kent too. There was a lot of hoo-ha on the socials today.
Yeah.
Named in the emergencies, that's obviously
let's talk about that. The selection for this week, because that's a little bit of bone of contention going on.
Some mind games there. He's 100% starting in the side.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. That I would be forever more gutted for that kid that he gets his debut coming on it halfway through the last quarter because some dopey knocked himself out or something. That's just not gonna fly with me at all. He'll play. He'll start. Mark Murphy will be.
Who's gonna have a cold or something and needs to come out?
Nunes for mine.
Right.
He's gonna get out. Whether that back injury that he sustained during the game is going to hold him out, or whether his form's going to hold him out because that hasn't been great. So he'll be out. Kemp comes in. That's you can take that to the bank, Dory. But that's $1.20, not your $85 for Walsh to win the Brownlow. That's $1.20 starting. Murph will be the sub, and I think you mentioned it, or either Trev did on your show. They'll limit Murphy to his 300, and they'll do it via the sub. He'll just come on at three-quarter time every week until he gets it.
Yeah, I've got a bit to say about that. I've got to have a wee. Give me a sec.
You go on then.
Why don't we work away with Rude Lid?
Yeah, let's get Rude Lid out of the way. And then we'll
John's nomination, Rude Lid number 1. So guys, we normally do a thing about Rude Lid every week. There's Rude Lids everywhere you go. And of course, we're up against Collingwood this week. So
it's always fun to pick Rude Lids against
an absolute ton of Rude Lids to pick from. However, we've narrowed it down to 3 nominations, and we're going to chuck up a bit of a picture there. We'd love to hear your votes. Who gets Rude Lid of the week this week out of these 3 guys?
Yeah. Fantastic. Caleb Poulter. Now Brady Grundy had the world's worst man bun top knot. He was coming straight out of Fitzroy with that hipster look with a stupid glasses that he didn't even need. And then he's got a Karen haircut now. He's gone and cut that man bun off, and now he's got the Karen bob. What do they call that?
I don't even know.
When you looked at him when he was playing, that was a bob haircut he had there. So yeah, that's not getting it done for mine. And you can't have a Rude Lid competition or segment without Chris Mayne in it.
No, you're quite right. So we'd love to hear from you guys. Who do you think gets Rude Lid? To be perfectly honest, hold on.
Perfectly honest, what?
I lost my train of thought.
Go,
big day at work today. There it is. To be perfectly honest, I think anyone wearing the Collingwood jumper is up for Rude Lid nomination. Would everyone agree with me?
It has to be Chris Mayne for mine. He's ugly as a hat full of assholes.
Yeah, but I think anybody in a Collingwood jumper is ugly. Now, my case in point, right? Daisy Thomas, ugly as a hatful in a Collingwood jumper.
Yeah.
Throws on a Carlton jumper. Suddenly the guy's a good-looking rooster.
Absolutely.
So who we got for Rude Lid? Here's another nomination.
Late nomination for Rude
John Rowe.
Hey, did Trevor do that?
No, we were just doing our Rude Lid while you were away. And basically anyone with a Collingwood jumper on.
Yep.
And
so, horrifying story for you is
okay.
I actually played.
Hold on. We need to come. We gave 3 nominations for Rude Lid.
Yeah.
Who gets it?
Chris Mayne.
Chris Mayne.
Yep.
Chris Mayne. All right.
Yeah, nice.
Work away, John.
Yeah, horrifying story is I actually played Little League for Collingwood because I was zoned.
Oh, that's pretty. I wouldn't have definitely.
I used to like you. Yeah. I don't know now.
Very, very unfortunate.
I played out on Vic Park, and I tell you what, it was against Essendon, and they were just spot on. They were just absolutely, it was horrifying.
How'd you not end up in soccer instead with that, Mark?
Oh, mate.
I ended up in care.
The Department of Communities.
Actually, to be honest, it's funny, Simone, you say that. I ended up playing basketball.
Look, it must have been very traumatic for you. And look, mate, if you ever need a friend to call out on, we're there for you because, that's trauma.
Absolutely. Deep-seated trauma.
So and this is, I've related this story a few times. I came back to football a little bit later when I was about 13, 14, and when we moved up to Yarrawonga and played on Joel Smith, the Hawthorn champion. He absolutely carved me to pieces. So I said, oh, fuck it, I'm going back to basketball.
Jason Allen, sounds like it's a late nom.
A late nom.
Roscoe, a head like a smacked ass.
Head like a smacked ass. You left us there, John. You
left us with a point.
Wound right up like a spinning top. Off you go.
Yeah, where are we with this?
Yeah, great. Where were we in conversation?
No, the idea you left us with before you disappeared.
Yeah, before you went off for a slash.
Oh, yeah. It was about
Mark Murphy.
It was about Mark Murphy. I think right from the start of his career that Carlton supporters have got him wrong. They just see this. They just see what he's not. They see that he's this very individualistic sort of a person. What I understand, and I don't know Mark personally, but from what I understand from those in the know, is that Mark would be absolutely horrified to be brought over the line for his 300th. He would want to earn it, and he would want to be part of the team that gives success rather than get that 300. And if that means that he's not playing, Mark would be more than happy with that because he wants to see the team succeed. He doesn't want to see himself get to 300. That's the sort of bloke that he is. If we're going to nurse him over the line, that would be the greatest insult of all time to Mark Murphy.
100%.
I agree with you
100%.
Wholeheartedly.
And he plays like a fella who is more interested in the team winning.
Yep.
So I agree with all of that.
Like I said, I don't know the bloke, but that's from very, very good sources.
Yep, absolutely. But then from there, so where do we sit with him getting to 300? Does he deserve? Is he in the best 22?
He's not, but I think he deserves to see 300.
But then we're nursing him to 300, aren't we? If he's not in the best 22, he's not in the best 22.
Yeah,
I agree. I think he deserves. I think he deserves to get to 300, but he deserves to get there on his own merits.
So
He's been
the
loyal
question that
through
I
and
posed
through.
on Tuesday night was: is he a better footballer and better for the team at the moment than a Matthew Cottrell?
Yeah, actually.
Then he deserves his place.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
not because it's Mark Murphy and we need to get him to 300. He gets a spot on the ground because he's going to be more influential to make us run to the finals than a Matthew Cottrell.
Yeah, potentially, but then the same thing could be said. Is there someone else in the twos that's not in the ones that is going to deliver more than Mark
Brilliant.
Murphy?
Brilliant.
Yeah. Look, I think
That's Josh Allen.
Wayne's point here is he's in the best 22 just. He's been a loyal servant, which, even though he's at the end of his career, there's more loyalty in him and team playing in him than some of our current best 22. So, yeah.
But 300
I agree with that point.
300's just a number. It's bullshit. It doesn't mean anything at the end of the day.
He'll still go out as a club champion.
He'll
still go out as a great of the club, as a hero to many.
But I think we'd all like to see him
that the
on the
fans put
field
on, I
to
think.
finish his career.
It's fans and media that build up this shit. It's not Mark. It's not the club.
No.
Well, we are fans.
Yeah, and look, maybe we're adding to it by bringing it up as a topic to talk about. But yeah, I'm a bit torn. I want to see him get to 300, but at the same time, throughout season 2021 as a whole, he's not deserved the games he's got.
Yeah, but look.
So, but neither has Levi. There's been times where I think Fogarty will miss out. He was a Medi sub that didn't get played last week. He's gonna eventually get dropped. There's a fair bit more to it than that, but yeah.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, we're not picking anything. I think
you pick your nose all the time, but yeah.
What I would like to see is obviously Murph won't go around again next year. I would like to see him have his moment when he finishes his career on the Oval.
Not as a sub.
Not as a sub.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Murphy. We're still on Murphy, mate. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, you want it off.
Yeah, we continue this shit.
Delivered mail to whoever and whatever. But what we were saying is...
all right, I'm going to go and have a snooze, and come back,
All right. No, but the point was, however many games he finishes with, we hope he gets to finish it playing footy on the field properly.
Yeah.
This year, as opposed to I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
Haven't seen me in 5 weeks, and I'm not coming back either.
Yeah.
I think he deserves his day for applause.
Whether it's $2.99 or $300. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So
hang on, back up. If he's not part of the best 22 and we're still going for finals, then that doesn't happen for me.
Oh, maybe it doesn't. Yeah.
If he gets carted around the ground in a car and whatever and all that when we're playing,
whatever way it looks like, that he gets his moment.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, he's not that sort of guy. He doesn't want a moment. What he wants is finals.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's that sort of bloke, as I understand.
Yeah. Let's see how the next few weeks go, because between we know how long a week is in footy. So at the moment we're going, we're still
7 days.
Chance finals. Next week we might say something different. And we might go, fuck it, just give him a fucking wheelchair, whatever.
Yep.
I would like to see him on the Oval, on the field, getting his moment in the sun for his last game, whatever number it is. So that leads us into Goose. And what do you reckon?
A bit of a wrap up. Yep.
Yeah, we'll get close to wrapping it up. So there's been a few Gooses this week.
I'm going to start off the top with the petrol nomination for Goose, Kane Corns. Every time Walsh kicks the match sealing goal or gets 40 touches and blows the rest of the competition out of the water, I can't help but think about all the inbox messages and everything, all the shit that Kane Corns cops for saying that Connor Rozee is going to be the best thing since sliced bread, and Walsh can't dominate a game or change the flow of a game or fucking whatever horse shit Kane Corns sprouted off about an 18-year-old kid. Fuck that guy. Massive Goose of the week. He's going to cop it from now on every week that Sam Walsh gets best on. Kane Corns is going to cop Goose of the week.
I'll tell you what Kane Corns should...
But to be fair...
I'll tell you what Kane Corns should get every week. And this sounds a little bit immature, but I think it's deserved. That every time he talks shit, he should have a pile of poo lit on fire at his doorstep.
Billy Madison style.
Because that's what it deserves.
Yep.
Yeah, look, to Kane Corn's credit, he came out during the week and saying, you know, how much is this guy making me look like a goose? He came out and admitted it. And look,
he's done that a couple of times.
Look, I've said this regularly on our show. I'm a big fan of Kane Corns, but I come from a WWE background, and I spent a lot of years working with the WWE. When you have a good guy, you've got to have a bad guy, because that's just the way it works, and it makes the good guys better, and it makes the bad guys more deplorable, and it just works. It just creates that tension. It creates that drama, and I reckon Kane Corns is that for Carlton Footy Club. He does that to wind us up, to get us to buy memberships, to get us to support to support everything, because seriously, I seriously believe that. Yeah,
he's the heel. He's the heel to our baby face for sure.
He is, absolutely. He winds us up because he, like Eddie Maguire, know that the competition is only strong with a strong Carlton Football Club, with a strong Collingwood Football Club, with a strong Essendon Football Club, with a strong Richmond Football Club. If one of those is going down, then and
competition is at risk.
Yeah, the competition is gone, and you know, the guys like Port Adelaide, these new clubs, and you know, to a lesser extent Adelaide and Fremantle, they don't exist anymore if there's not a strong Carlton. And I seriously think that's his role. You know, he gets he gets his own personal tweets and, you know, his own personal profile up there as well.
Yeah.
He does that brilliantly, but he does that as a heel.
Yeah.
That's my personal belief.
But nevertheless, whether he's doing it for the right reasons or not, he still gets a Goose of the Week in, week out.
Yeah, fuck him.
So who else you got, Frank?
Collingwood supporters in general.
Every week.
You cottoned on to a dodgy Collingwood version of Carlton Live, I think, and somehow found the video of some spoon having a massive rant with his mate, and all they could come up with was Carlton fucking shit.
Carlton shit, man.
Carlton shit. For 10 minutes, just two blokes going at each other, just Carlton shit.
Yeah.
And that's why I love being Collingwood, because you know those guys, they're fucking shit. So he's got another one.
Yeah, that's a show called Collingwood Live.
It was great. I had hours of enjoyment.
Yeah.
I watched that nearly as many times as
It's a Fucking Goat.
It's a Fucking Goat video, because It's a Fucking Goat video. It was extremely enjoyable. I don't know. We need to find out who made that.
Yeah.
Because that was mint.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, good times, good fun.
Very good.
Who else we got for Goose?
Brodie Grundy flopping for a free kick, pushing the back from Nick Newman. I can't remember what quarter it was, but Nick Newman barely touched him, and he hit the ground like a sack of shit. And Liam Jones took an uncontested mark in the background. Brody Grundy is 6'29", and 100 and something odd kilos. He doesn't need to be flopping for free kicks against Nick Newman. Just put your hands up and mark it, you dick. Because Jones took an uncontested mark and the ball got rebounded. So well done, Karen haircut, Grundy, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, what is with that haircut? It's like, I've gone from samurai man to 90s man.
90s Karen called and wanted a haircut back.
Listen, I'm going to throw another goose up there, and this just slid across my socials today.
Hang on. You're only contracted for a couple of gooses.
No, this is a really good one. And I cannot discuss it without showing the photo.
Yeah.
Here it is.
This is it.
Some guy
has tiled his bathroom
that way.
Entirely St Kilda.
Now, I would like to know which way this guy pees, because it's all over. It upsets me.
I'll be honest, I reckon he sits down to pee. if that's his bathroom, he's 100% sitting down to pee. But yeah, that's a fair goose, that one.
That's a fair goose. Whoever did his bathroom like
$30,000 bathroom gone.
He gets a goose.
Where was that tiled?
I found it on Facebook.
I found it on Facebook. It was on the Nuffies of AFL pages, and I thought, you are such a Nuffy.
Because I think I know the guy.
I think you get a goose for knowing it.
We're talking 10 years ago that he did that with the black and with the red and the black, and I'm not sure that there was any white. There was definitely not the St Kilda logo on the roof, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, see, that's what troubles me. The logo on the ceiling, like,
yeah,
going for aiming practice, it doesn't go there. Or if you want to just look at it, it doesn't go there either.
No, yeah. He wouldn't have done that. He's not that stupid. He would have had a picture of Robert Harvey on the roof. Dead set true.
Oh, look out. All right, what do we got? Any more?
I
think we're about done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another mention is Freo losing to Geelong on the weekend.
All those Freo supporters that booked their grand final tickets, torch them now.
They all got their chests out after Eagles lost to North Melbourne, going, oh, look out.
Head down to the Sale and Anchor in Freo, and then...
No, that was good times. Loved it. Our socials have never been quieter from our WA friends.
It's fantastic.
Hey, I'm interested, guys, because the WA newspapers are 3/4 football. They're 3/4 football, with Fremantle and West Coast being absolute rubbish. What are they doing? Is it like a newspaper? It's like...
Well, it is. It's paper thin, like legitimately, pardon the pun, but they turn after their own too. Don't worry about that. The moment that they jump off faster than anybody else does, the Western Australian, the newspaper.
You would know it in Queensland, right? In your television news, you only hear about the local clubs in the sports part of the television news. Same here. Like, we get Basil and Pav on talking about West Coast
having a big nose off
and Freo. We don't hear anything about any other club at all. So that's why we love our socials, because we get to hear about our club.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, up here, you get rugby league basically.
Yeah.
Well, and you get this tiny bit about Brisbane Lions, a tiny bit about Gold Coast.
And then the rest about how well the Brisbane Broncos are going.
Yeah. And it's more about now you get front page, that's almost every day, front page scandal about some player in the NRL.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt. your front page news is all about Palaszczuk getting the Olympics, because there was a bit of rhetoric about the fact that she was going to Tokyo, but there you go.
Did Brisbane get the Olympics today?
Yes, apparently so. In case you didn't hear. I know you might not have heard, John, because you live somewhere else. But anyway, look, we're going to wrap it up shortly.
Yep.
We'll
knock this on the head.
We'll knock this on the head, move on. It's getting late. What we'd like to say is go Blues. It's been shifted this weekend's game.
Yeah.
It's about 11:30 in WA.
Yeah, it's nice and early. I think the shoe bar's on for the WA Blues.
Yeah, so if you fancy on getting together with the WA Blues, they're at the shoe bar.
The shoe bar in Yagan Square in Perth.
Me and Frank are going to hang out home here because it's a bit early in the day for us.
Yeah. We'll still get on the piss, no doubt, but
yeah, well, that's right, probably about half time.
Forget what happened in the last quarter and move on with our lives.
But look, we really want to thank you all for joining us, and thanks, John, for jumping on. We were going to have David Thomason come and join us this week, but he couldn't because his kids are playing basketball. So he might join us next week.
Yep. Don't forget to buy them cartons, John. Some of those.
Yeah, like there's guys punching in Harry's goals. So closest to the pin gets
carton.
Gets carton from you and Trev.
Beauty.
Like we're just doing the team thing, mate. You know, like.
All
right. Good
yeah,
on,
watch
mate.
how quickly I pay for them.
Thanks, John.
Thanks for joining us, John.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, can I just wrap up? I'm just so much enjoying your guys' show. It's infectious and it's impossible not to come on because it's so me and Trevor got this wonderful on camera vibe that we got, but it's so much behind what you guys have because you've got that as brother and sister and you do such a wonderful job, and I really love it. You can't not come on, you can't not watch it type of thing. So guys, very well done.
Appreciate that.
I think you guys are going to be the flagship show before too long. Are
we the Sam Welsh to your Patrick Cripps?
I think so. I think we're the goat.
I think so.
It's a fucking goat. and look, just on the back of that, thank you, John. If there's any baggers that want to join us on the show, you can do just like John has.
Yeah, jump on.
We could just organise it leading up to, and we'll just have a chat and have a good time.
Beautiful.
Just like you would at the pub after the game.
Done.
And you'll be the flagship show before long. And the Thursday time slot is just perfect for you.
Beauty.
Yeah, and we have fun, and we hope you all guys have fun. Let's hope we're up and about next week. Go Blues!
Go the Blues!
Go Harry!
Blues!
Good night, guys.
See ya.
Yeah, right. This is awkward now. Just shut it off.